What's up, legends? All right, hey, we are super excited. We're kicking off this channel with a bang. I am Scott Simpson, and this is my cousin, that Denver guy. We're super excited to have you guys here. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple of legends. Well, we're going to determine if they're legends or not on YouTube. The Paul brothers. I know the Paul brothers, super controversial. There's very polarizing. Some people love them, some people hate them. Denver, how do you feel about the Paul brothers?
Man, I don't want to give it up yet. I don't know. I made up my mind. Maybe by the end of this, we'll be decided on this.
Okay. All right. So you guys, if you want to know how Denver feels about it, you got to stay tuned to the very end of this video. But we're going to be going over a number of things that the Paul brothers do very, very well, and a lot of things that the Paul brothers do that, maybe it's a little bit on the edge. And we're going to determine if they cheated their way to success on YouTube or if they actually earned all the success and all the glory and everything that they have amassed over the last number of years that they've been on YouTube. So what do you say we just dive into it, Denver?
Let's get into it. I'm curious to see. We got a few clips planned for you guys. We just want to make sure that we are giving this a fair look too, just because we don't want to condemn somebody that hasn't fully broken all the rules, so it's kind of like an ethical, moral dilemma. Should we do this on YouTube to be able to grow? Or did some of this stuff kind of cross the line? And I know a lot of you guys have some very strong feelings about this too, but we just wanted to open that up and definitely leave your comments below as we ask those questions and let us know your thoughts as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to hear what you guys think of the Paul brothers, whether you like them or whether you don't like them. Leave that in the comments, and let's just jump right into it. So the first thing that I wanted to point out in most of the Paul brothers videos, actually, if you look at them, have you watched much of the Paul brothers, Denver?
Not a ton, man. I kind of stay away for the same reasons that you do. It's, number one, it's just not kind of my cup of tea. I've never been into the big, into the vlogging field besides just a couple of channels. But as we all kind of know, he tries to push that line. He tries to push that boundary quite a bit. A lot of people, and he even says, we'll talk about his audience as well. But, I think it's more designed for a younger audience. But it's just, it's just my personal taste. I haven't watched a whole ton of it. I don't know.
So we're going to talk about how they influence children here in just a minute. But the first thing that I want to talk about is that they break stuff in every single video. Like if you watch their videos, they are constantly breaking stuff. They break drones, they break plates, they break basketball hoops, they break everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that what serves them well is that it has that shock factor, right? It's like, I want to see somebody just smash something all day long, right? Because you wouldn't be able to just walk through your house and smash something, but you go to YouTube and you can watch the Paul brothers do it every single day. So there's kind of like that feeling of they're going to get in trouble, but it's like, oh my gosh, they're actually really doing it. What do you think about them breaking?
It's like it's this edgy content, right? And as we're kind of talking about being a younger audience, we like to see things that we are unable to do ourselves, that we are not willing to do ourselves. I'm not going to go into my kitchen and just throw a plate on the ground and smash it because I know I have to clean that up. Do I want to watch somebody else do this kind of content? I mean, yeah, it is kind of shocking. Something in our brain goes, whoa, that's outside of the norm. Should he be doing that? So it's like that edgy spin, which most of his videos are based on, right? I mean, they're just trying to be edgy.
One of the things that I learned very early on from doing YouTube, on our own channel, like we've had our own success on YouTube. Both of us have. One of the things I learned very early on from a larger YouTube channel was he said that you have to be willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do in order to get the views, right? And so if you're not willing to do those things, like break plates, like break stuff, like just buy something in the store and go and smash it. I guess the point is, I don't want to say that you're not likely to get views, but the odds of you becoming successful faster if you do these things that other people aren't willing to do are a lot higher because people still want to see it, right?
I think that's where we're going with it. YouTube's been out for how many years now? Are we going on 15 or so?
15, yeah, 15.
I'd say right around 15. So when YouTube started out, you could do these kind of mundane things and people just kind of wanted to see into the lives of other people, but we're past the mundane part. What we need is something extreme. We need to push things to the limit. And even in gaming, I mean, you'll see in video games, people will blow up just because they're doing the things that other people don't want to do. That's where you get your laser beams from, who I admire, I respect. I mean, he's on top of YouTube right now. He's across Fortnite, across Minecraft. He's still doing things, spending 15, sometimes 20 hours a day doing things that other people are not willing to do. And I think that's why Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and a lot of people in that kind of content style are able to grow as fast as they can.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, but some of the dangers of that are that if you build your channel on that principle, right? On being extreme, you always have to take it to the next level. You always have to one up yourself, as opposed to, you know, like DIY crafts. They just make cool crafts all the time.
On to the next craft, right?
Just on to the next craft. But Jake and Logan Paul, their whole audience, their whole channel is built on being extreme. And if once you start to lose that core audience of people that is like, yeah, this is boring, they don't do anything extreme anymore, then you know, that's the kind of the downside of having a channel like that. So if you want to be successful on YouTube, you just understand that if you are successful because you're taking things to the extreme, you're always going to have to one up yourself. You're always going to have to outdo yourself, and that can lead to a huge crash and burn.
It's true. And I think a lot of that comes down to psychology. And Scott and I, we talk about this a lot. A lot to do with YouTube is how our brain kind of reacts to something, you know, even down to like red arrows on a thumbnail. And so what happens when you push your audience to these extremes, that dopamine, our chemicals in our brain are releasing, and we're excited to see this. Well, next time you smash a plate, it's not going to have the same reaction, right? Now you got to smash 10 plates. Then you got to smash 100. Or what did he do? 1,000 plates. I think he had a video where he smashed 10,000 plates. Yeah, 10, he smashed 10,000 plates. I mean, that's what you have to do. What are you going to do next? You can never go back to 500 plates. You can never go back to one plate unless it's like a 2-second little bit in your 10-minute video. You have to keep one-upping yourself. So not only is your audience expecting more and more and more, but you're exhausting yourself. And somehow they've been able to keep up with it. I mean, and all the things that people can say negative about the Paul brothers, they've been able to keep this up for years and years and years while maintaining, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views every single video they put out, even to this day, which is pretty amazing. I mean, let's talk about the good in it as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But on the other side, again, on the flip side of that, they have a history of taking things too far, right? I mean, you look at when Logan Paul went to the suicide forest in Japan and, filmed himself next to somebody who had committed suicide. Like, that is a no-go. You do not do that stuff, right? I mean, that's just super disrespectful.
It kind of makes you wonder, you know, did he know that was going to be as controversial? It's something I've kind of looked into. We walk the line, right? Some YouTubers just kind of walk the line. And that's something we all have to figure out. Do we feel morally and ethically comfortable with doing what we do on YouTube? Now, some people I've even mentioned, throw a red arrow in your thumbnail. And they're like, immediately, they're like, no, I can't do that because that's clickbait and that's blah, blah, blah. And for me, I look at a red arrow. I look at a red arrow and I'm like, dude, why wouldn't you do this? Clearly it works. But some people just see that line way back here. And some people see the line way up ahead. And every once in a while they cross it. And I don't know if they do it purposefully for those extra views. Cause I mean, let's be honest here. It works. Right? How much notoriety did he bring to his name for doing something so extremely negative and against the rules? How much did he actually benefit from that? Was the positive from that decision outweighing that negative? It's hard to say, but I think it actually worked out for him in the end. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the question that you kind of got to ask yourself in the moment too, is this worth it, right? He's a single guy in his early 20s. He's got a long life ahead of him to kind of repair any reputation damage that was done to him. But, at the same time, though, it's like, in the moment when you're in your early 20s doing stuff like that and you're getting all this negative press and, there's a video of some girl spitting on him and things like that. It's like, that is psychologically damaging, right? That will lead these guys. I mean, that's why like child actors, right? They all like, they grow up and they start doing drugs and they start doing all these, these things that are pushing the limits, pushing the line, crossing the line. And then they completely collapse and burn out. And that's the danger of that. And
that's what confuses me. You look at these child actors and it's like they have a few years and then they turn into decades of having these issues, right? And some of them never even seem to fully recover. Yeah. But then you look at Jake and Logan Paul and what they do, they've been doing it for years, right? Wasn't Jake Paul was on Disney years ago,
Yeah.
and he still is making videos, and they're still pushing it to these extreme limits. And almost every single video, they're making somebody mad. They're upsetting someone.
Yeah.
And yet I don't know if there's just like a gene that they have. I couldn't handle that. I get a little bit of negative feedback, and I'm just like, oh, here we go. I got to change things up. I got to make sure I don't get that negative feedback again. These guys, it's almost like they do it purposefully. So I don't know. Leave your comments down below. Are Jake Paul and Logan Paul actually doing this on purpose because it furthers their brand, because they can handle it? Or do you think it's just part of their character? Are they just extreme people and therefore they don't care because they're just unapologetically being themselves? It's a good question to ask, and I don't know if we can answer it.
Yeah, I'm going to throw an opinion in there just because I've watched a lot of, I mean, I don't want to say like I follow Jake and Logan Paul. I don't at all. But as I was researching this video, I watched a lot of their content, and a lot of their bad press has come from publicity stunts that they have done that have crossed the line. Like Jake Paul, he got married to a girl, didn't, you know,
Right.
it wasn't even like a real marriage. They did it for show. She came out and even said that. And then there was a staged fight at their wedding. So it's like there's all of these things that they're doing just to get the TMZ,
just to get views.
Yeah,
just to get people talking about him. I mean, it's I literally can't handle it. Scott, I don't know if you can. You know, you had some videos. I think it was your #1 video ever, right? Where it would look like a giant spider on there, and people were like, "This is fake," you know. And it's like, well, of course it's fake, but just to hear so many negative comments about it, even if it's totally misinformed, even if they're totally wrong, and you didn't even mean to mislead them, just that negativity, it sits inside of what you would assume the typical person, right? And prevents you from doing things way too far outside of the ordinary. But it's almost like Jake and Logan Paul, it's like they're unaffected by it. And like it just baffles me. Yeah, it's like they actually have some sort of gene that just says, I don't care, right? Think of like your Michael Jordans, your LeBron James, like these Tom Brady. Think of how many people hate Tom Brady, like literally hate him. They've never met the man ever. All they know is he plays for the Patriots and he's won a lot, and they hate him for that. Can you imagine? I mean, being there, you have to, as it was explained to me one time, you almost have to be like a duck, you know, duck feathers, kind of water just rides right off. It doesn't even get exactly. It's almost like you have to be that way, and you have to strengthen yourself and toughen up. But at the same time, do you ever even want to go that route as a creator? Do you ever even want to, we'll go to another feather analogy. Do you even want to ruffle the feathers? Is it even worth it? To me, it's like, no, I'd rather just stay quiet and stay in my little place. But we know if I broke out of my little mold and just started saying, you know, crazy opinions and doing clickbaity things, I would probably grow. I would probably double in size in the next month or two. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, but is it worth it?
Right, right.
Because you look at, like, I know Jake Paul just recently, he was struggling with some depression, and I would associate some of that, at least some of that, to being one of the most polarizing characters on YouTube, being hated by half the population on YouTube. And is that worth it? Is that worth it?
I mean, you know, millions and millions and millions of people like see his face, right? You and I, we know him. We hardly ever watch him, but we know who he is. We know like exactly who he is. If we saw him on the street, it's that initial, would I respect this person as a human being, right? He's never done any wrong to me. And most of you guys watching, he's never done any wrong to you personally. All we do is we see him do what we deem to be bad stuff, what the media calls bad actions, right? Immoral actions. And we look at that, we make our decisions based on him as a human being. If we ever just met him in person, he might be the coolest dude ever. I don't know, but who you're portraying online, just like, you know, our mom used to tell us when we were like 12 years old, who you're portraying online, that stuff follows you, right? And so it's like, I don't know, man, you know, for me, I'd rather be respected as a person and as a creator by as many people as possible than to grow exponentially way faster than I ever would by polarizing myself and saying, you know, true opinions that you should honestly, you'd only share with your closest family members and friends, just because I don't want to ruffle those feathers. I'd rather just not, and I'd rather be a respected creator and, you know, human being. That way, if people saw me in person, they'd be like, oh, that's Denver. That's that Denver guy. He's a pretty decent guy, right? I mean, that's just the way I see it. I don't know. Do you feel the same way?
No, I do. And I mean, the thing is, like, we don't know what Jake Paul's personality is like off of YouTube because we've never met him, right? He could be the coolest, sweetest guy in the world,
Totally be.
and he just plays a character on his YouTube channel. We don't
Yep.
know.
Yep.
But that's the problem is when people, and this is another reason why these child actors and people who are very successful early on in life, why they crumble and fall is because they portray themselves one way on television or on YouTube, but they might be completely different in real life. And when people can't remove that association from you when they meet you in person, they treat you like
the character that you
like you are the
pretended to be.
character. Yes.
Yep.
When they treat you like that, then you don't have an identity. And if you don't have an identity, then that's when you struggle because it's like, well, who am I? Who am I really?
That's true.
And
that's very important on YouTube to find that identity. And it's really hard. Even, I mean, and we'll break it down because Scott and I like to be real with you guys. Even before this video, we were like, who's going to do the intro? Scott's so much better at doing an intro live than I am. I am used to scripted content. Even some of you guys watching this video right now, if you're familiar with my other channels, you know that I normally sound incredibly scripted and planned. I don't have the uhs, the ums, the thinking and even short pauses and messing up the words that I'm saying like I am right now, just because I'm so used to being scripted. So it's like when somebody sees me, or you guys even might be seeing me now going, wow, he's a little bit different than I'm used to. That's what we portray, right? I portray somebody who's way more articulate than I actually am in real life. It's just the truth. And I like it to be that way. I like to sound planned out and prepared as opposed to just kind of a mess and not being able to get my thoughts organized. But that's what I risk, is somebody treating me differently based on who I portray myself to be online. And it's very gentle. I cannot imagine being in Jake or Logan's shoes. I just can't do it, man, just because I couldn't face people who think that I am something that I'm completely not. But again, it could be them. It could be the real person that we see on their YouTube videos. I would just assume that it's not. I just think they are very different in real life, and this is the character they play to make their money and do their job, because that's exactly what it is, you know?
Yeah, give them the benefit of the doubt. And I know that we've been beating up the Paul brothers for the last 15 minutes, 17 minutes, but there are some things that I want to talk about that they do really, really well. And the thing is that you got to remember, like the Paul brothers, Jake and Logan, they are brilliant marketers.
Brilliant.
Like they are brilliant marketers. They know how to captivate an audience. They know how to hook you. They know how to keep you watching. And so those are some of the things that I want to talk about for the next couple minutes as we wind things up here. But I want to talk about some of the things that they do really, really well. So one of the things that they do amazing is their film style. So some of their, Denver, you want to talk about some of their film style techniques?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, it's kind of like a David Dobrik feel to it.
Yeah.
It's never like on a tripod. It's never with those, a super expensive camera. You hire a cameraman and they're on the gimbal. Isn't that what it's called? The gimbal?
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So it's never like super professional looking. It's almost like shaky videos and stuff and zooms in and out and cuts. And it feels so real and authentic, almost as if you're in the room with them and you're taking part in the crazy shenanigans that they're doing, right? And I think that's why kids respond so much to this. And that's why you, I guess, is it called iCarly on Disney, right? I'm going to sound so old right now. We're both going to sound old. Now, iCarly was one of the first shows that kind of broke the mold, right? Broke that fourth wall almost, because they were like live and they're like, here's us. And then the camera would go off and it was like, you got to see these two different lives. And that's how I feel like, with Jake Paul, Logan Paul, David Dobrik, it's very authentic, right? There's nothing that looks clean and studio planned and stuff like that. I mean, they're just themselves and they do wild things, or at least they're, pretending to be themselves and doing these wild things. But I love the authentic camera movement and the cuts and the zooms and everything. I mean, they'll literally take a camera, just shove it in somebody's face, pull it back, quick, flip over to the left and right and up and down. It almost makes you sick, but it's so entertaining and engaging because it feels so real.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things like Denver said, like the quick jump cuts, the quick zoom ins, the punch in, punch out, right? All of those things are pattern disruptors, right? They get you, watching, and then you can't stop watching because there's so much movement going on. So the pacing of their videos is incredible. Like they know pacing to like perfection for YouTube. It's insane. They're also filming on higher quality cameras. So they're probably filming on like Sony, like nicer Sonys or nicer Canons, the DSLRs where you can be quick to punch in, to zoom in, zoom out with the twist of the lens. And they're always, like we were talking about, like they're ADD brothers. Like you can just see like, oh my
For
gosh,
sure.
there's always something going on.
There's
I don't want to
always
label
guy.
them, but again, like you look at them and you're like, yeah, they're pretty much like all over the place, super hyperactive.
Yeah. It would feel like if you were around them, there would never ever be a dull moment, which I think is a good thing. You know, remember yourself as a kid, and we saw, you know, in a couple of these clips, Jake actually says his audience is from 8 to 18 years old, right? And so we look at this and we're like, as a kid, it's almost like Jake Paul. Imagine Jake and Logan as 12-year-olds. That would be the cool kid in school. They would be. They were the cool guys, right? They were the fun ones that were willing to get in trouble, that were, you know, gonna tease the substitute teacher and throw a paper airplane at him. Like, you didn't know what they were gonna do. And it was like it's like watching a show in real life. You know, it's almost like watching a Disney bully, but behind the scenes in real life, right? It's so funny to like look at them and how different they are from everybody else. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know. I just see them as that kind of Disney bully, like, you know, get in trouble, and therefore they are that exciting because you never know what they're going to do.
Yeah, never a dull moment. And they're loud, you know. It's like when you're around loud people who are fun and doing things, like, it's infectious. You're willing to do more, you're willing to take more risks because you're with the person who is loud and obnoxious, and it's like, it's okay because they're funny.
Right. And you try to almost match them and reach their energy levels. And it's good. It's like you guys are, you know, you're building off each other and stuff like that. There is a place, you know, for people that are kind of calmer and, you know, more chill. But really, when you look at that 8 to 18 audience range, I mean, that's what they want. It's just exciting, loud, quick, constantly in your face, doing edgy things that break the rules. Because, you know, inside all of us, we just have something that we want to break the rules, right? We go back to human psychology. We just break rules, right? Human beings break rules. If the speed limit's 35, what do we do? Exactly. I mean, when the speed limit's 35, we go 38, right? But sometimes we hit, you know, 45. We might go 50 in a 35, and it's like 70, we feel 70. Edgy, right? 70, 92 in a 35. Which one of my former students who went into high school and stuff, I was just like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, he had to go to classes and everything. Just wild, man. But I mean, you look at that and it's like, we all have something inside of us that wants to break the rules. Most of us just don't. We try to stay clean. We try to stay safe, just because we like that respect. We like that approval for others. To watch somebody who doesn't care about approval from others, to be able to break the rules and to be able to watch them and see what happens when they break these rules, it's fascinating. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so they definitely have that going for them. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, and we can wrap up with this maybe, collaborations, right? They are the masters at collaborations. And I actually know people in LA who have done collaborations with them. When they started on YouTube, that was like how they blew up so fast. So at first, they brought over a lot of people from Vine. But if you watch some of their early content, they were doing collaborations almost in every single video. They would bring in these people that had even 20,000, 50,000 subscribers. They would do shout outs, they do cross promotions, and they blew up.
So when you say like 20 to 50,000, where were they at that point? Were they above them? Were they below them?
They were above them. They would,
so even smaller YouTubers, they would bring them on just because, I mean, just to get that smaller exposure. Audience. Yeah, exposure.
In LA. So we had some friends who we went to school with, and their name are Kyler and Mad. Some of the audience here might know who they are, but they've been in a lot of Jake and Logan Paul videos. And because their twin girls they have like Instagram followings in the millions and whatever. But Kyler and Mad, they didn't have any subscribers, and they really launched their channel by hanging out with Jake and Logan Paul. So they were hanging out with these YouTubers that weren't even starting. You know, they had like 100 subscribers when they first were hanging out with Jake and Logan Paul. They were willing to, you know, to reach down and work with people who are way
that's cool. That's cool.
A lot smaller. I don't want to say like, I don't want it to sound negative, you know, but more at the beginning stages of YouTube than where Jake and Logan Paul were. And that in turn exploded Kyler and Mad. Kyler and Mad have millions of subscribers now. Jake and Paul have almost 20 million. Jake and Logan have almost 20 million subscribers now, but a lot of that was due to collaborating very early on. So if you guys want to be successful on YouTube, like, one of the fastest ways to grow a channel is by collaborating. And you don't always have to look at somebody who has less subscribers than you as less worthy of a collaboration than you. If they have,
never do that.
No,
ever.
no, no. I mean, you think about it, like if you are trying to get somebody who has 100,000 subscribers to give you a shout out, and you've got 1,000, right? They might have an audience that works for you, but chances are that they don't. And so if those people who are coming from 100,000 subscriber channel are used to content that is amazing from 100,000 subscriber channel, and then they come to your channel and they're not impressed, then you've got a whole bunch of subscribers that are going to be dead to you.
Yep,
but if you reach down and you're working with somebody who has 500 subscribers and they're like, oh my gosh, this guy with 1,000 subscribers is amazing, you can actually grow your channel so much faster just by collaborating.
I actually can speak personally to that. Like I was, I think 5,000 subscribers. I reached out to somebody with 40,000 subscribers, right? We were doing kind of the same content. He was awesome. He was like destroying the game, and he still is right now. A really good friend of mine. But I reached out, and not only did I say, hey, let's hop in and do a collaboration together, I said, I've got the idea for the video. I will edit the video. You can put it on your channel. I don't even care. Just, it would be fun and the audience would love to see it. He was like, yeah, absolutely. He didn't have to do any of the work. And so that was like my way of saying, like, here's my end of the bargain. You have a much bigger audience. So let me be just real with you. And here's what I can bring to you. And, as kind of a thank you, and to make my side even with his and what he was providing with a much bigger audience. That day I gained hundreds of subscribers, which is way more than I ever had in a single day. And that really like catapulted my channel, all because I reached out to somebody and said, hey, I have something for you. Do you want to do a collaboration? You won't have to do like any of the work. It'll be a video. You'll get ad revenue for it. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And now we're good friends today, still to this day. Awesome, dude.
It's awesome, man. That's awesome. Hey, well, we should probably wrap this thing up, but hey, you guys, thanks so much for watching today. We appreciate it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, leave a comment. Tell us what you think about the Paul brothers. If you haven't checked out ytlegends.com, go to ytlegends.com right now. If you want to learn how to become a YouTuber, a successful YouTuber, we put together a course. It's got almost 40 videos. It's got a massive workbook that you guys can follow. It's meant
people are blowing up.
People are blowing up. We've had people who have gone from 1,000 to 6,000 subscribers, from 5,000 to 30,000 subscribers. So it's really taking off. But we also want to know who you want us to review on this channel next. And I think this is going to kind of be how we do this for a while. It's going to be a more of a podcast type of a feel where we're just talking, but also dropping value bombs, so that way you guys can benefit from all the things we have to say and our analysis of some of these bigger YouTubers. So anything you want to say, Denver, before we go?
Whoever you guys want us to cover, review, who do you want to learn from? Some of these big YouTubers, doesn't matter. Mr. Beast, we were thinking about doing. We could even break into gaming content like Ninja, things like that, or even business content. Scott and I know a lot about YouTube and all these different niches.
All these guys. Yeah.
Let us know, guys. Let us know, and we will make those videos for you and get them out to you as soon as possible. But again, hit like, hit subscribe. We're going to have a lot of awesome videos coming out for you guys. We hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you guys next time.
Adios.